JP White, SportsSpeak Sports, where we talk sports and a few other things, and I'm tickled pink to be in the shop of Mr. Don Steele. Hobby shop, you call it.
Hobby Haven.
And where are we, actually?
It's 306 Orleans, downtown Beaumont.
There you go. And you've been here around here a while?
61 years.
Come on.
That's it.
Well, sure. What age were you when you started that?
20 years old.
That make you 81?
That's it.
Oh, Lord. He was just doing just right then. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school?
Well, I was born in Galveston. I was real fortunate because I loved Galveston, still do. And I lived there till I was about 9 years old. And all I wanted to do was open a model hobby shop. But my parents wanted me to go to college. And so the preacher wanted me to become a preacher. So he suggested I go to Lon Morris Junior College in Jacksonville, Texas.
All right.
And so that's what I did. So I quit there and finished up my 4th year at the University of Houston.
There you go, and then you're still wanting to fly model airplanes.
As soon as I got out of there in June, I planned on opening a hobby shop. I was very active flying in contests and so forth in what we call control line stunt, before radio control was even here. And so there was a real active club in Beaumont, and they wanted me to come over here and open a hobby shop in Beaumont. And so that's why I came over here. In September that year, I opened the shop. We were still engaged at that time, and so I opened the shop in September. My future wife, started helping me here in the shop. We got married December 24th, 1951. And
that's about 50-something years, isn't it?
61.
61 years,
61.
all right. Hey, well, I see these, there's a helicopter, what's that RAF up on it? A big plane, two-wing, what do you call them?
That's a SE-5. That was a British SE-5, Royal Air Force.
And what do they call it when they got the two wings?
Biplane.
Okay. All right, well, that's enough for that. But how about these helicopters you got sitting here?
Well, that's a story in itself. I hated helicopters. Real ones, models, didn't care a thing about them. Because all the early ones were very expensive and very difficult to fly. And airplanes is what I liked, not helicopters. But they finally came out with a little small one, and a very, very good flyer. I learned to fly it, and kind of changed my opinion about helicopters.
Okay. I saw you got some trophies back there, and we're going to want to go look at those in a few minutes and try to get those on the show. I see all these signs up here. What would it cost to get a helicopter?
Well, they start out, that little one we're talking about, it's about $120. And that sounds expensive, but it's very sophisticated. It's got this new radio technology that's 2.4 gigahertz. So you can have 100 of them flying at the same time. Nobody interferes with them.
They could run into each other, though.
That you can do. There's no, reason why that can't happen. And it
well,
does
could you demonstrate a helicopter flight right here for us in this building?
Yeah, I'd love to do it.
In this building?
Right here.
Well, let's see. You want to do that for me?
Sure.
Let's do that for me.
All right.
Right now.
Okay, to get this started, we cut the transmitter on first.
All righty.
It seeks out not one but 2 channels and locks onto them. You could have another 100 transmitters on, it wouldn't interfere. So we plug this in to cut it on, and then you've got a gyro in it to stabilize it, so you have to set it down.
It's got a what in it and it does?
A gyro.
Is that thing that goes round and round, makes everything go straight?
Except this is electronic. Don't ask me to explain
that thing got
it.
one of them,
yeah.
It must be a small one.
Very small.
Well, they used to be pretty good size, didn't they?
That one little board like that has a receiver, a mixer, electronic speed control, a gyro, 2 servos, all on a little chip that weighs a fraction of an ounce. That's how sophisticated this little helicopter is. It's not like the little $20 ones you buy at Walmart or anything like that. And it's almost indestructible. You can bang it all around without hurting it. But if you do hurt it, we have parts for it. So here we're going to go. We're going to Oh, and your 4 controls, you've got throttle here, you got circling this direction, then you got forward, backward, right, and left.
Okay.
So we're going to just take it off here and go fly toward the camera.
Hey, how about that? Man, that is nifty. I see a red light on this side.
That's for navigation.
Now I see a green light on the other side.
Oh, baby.
Blue light in front. I can talk you into being dangerous. And I'm supposed to talk to the pilot while we're flying.
Right. I've got to concentrate. At my age, I got to concentrate.
There you go. Okay, I'll quit asking you questions now.
Okay.
Hey, Jim Dandy.
Taxi it over and park it.
Wouldn't hurt you much, those blades, if it hits you, would it?
No, they're not. No danger whatsoever. Very flexible.
What age of a child could you start, could want to handle one of those probably? Would you sell one for it to some youngster?
Age is kind of important, but not as important as dexterity. 8 is probably as young, sometime even younger, but 8 to 10 is a good age to start.
Okay.
And then other kids that aren't very dexterous at 14 couldn't fly it. So it depends on the individual.
If they learned to do this, would that help them if ever later they wanted to learn to fly in an airplane or a helicopter or something?
Well, you hit a subject that is real dear to me, because being in the hobby shop business, I get people in almost once a week, sometimes several times a week. Haven't been in 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. And they're downtown, they see I'm still open, they realize I'm not dead, and they pop in and say hello, and come up with the stories about how when they were a kid they would come down, ride the bicycle, walk, ride the bus downtown to the hobby shop, and how much it meant to them in the rest of their life as to how getting into a hobby helped them be successful in life. And that's the most rewarding thing of anything I've ever done.
Tell me about that green airplane.
Once I got to competing, this was a design.
Wait a minute, you built that?
Yeah, this was my own design.
No kidding.
And yeah.
Okay, go ahead and tell me about it.
And I'd gone to the national contest in Olathe, Kansas in '48 just to see. I got started flying in '47. And in '48 I went to the nationals to see what everybody was flying. Learned a lot from that. And so I came back and started designing my own planes. And it was an evolutionary process. By 1949 I used a design similar to this, but it devolved into that one there. And by '49 that was a very successful design. And I won my first nationals the next year back at Olathe Naval Air Station with this design here.
Okay.
And then in '50 I used it again at the nationals in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
By that time they were going to slightly smaller, slower, real precision flying airplanes.
Hey, wait, is this one smaller than? Yeah, this is smaller than
Smaller
that.
engine, smaller plane, flew slower, but flew more accurate, more smooth. And so I came up with this design in '51.
Wait a minute, look here. What's that sticking right there?
That's your controls. This is before radio control.
Okay.
All you had was the elevator and the flaps, stunt flaps. And when you pull it up or down, the flaps give you a lot more lift, 60% more
Wait a
lift.
minute, who's pulling on this out here?
Well, you have 2 lines and 60 foot of cable. And
Come
you've got to handle it hole like this. So when you come back on it, that gives it up and down. And of course you fly in a circle. And then you do all your maneuvers, loops, figure eights, square loops, inverted flight, overhead eights, square maneuvers, triangle maneuvers. All that can be done just with a flip of the wrist.
Was that one up there the same way?
Yes, except it did not have the flaps.
Well, how did you control it?
Well, you had your elevator,
Okay.
but it didn't have the moving flaps.
There you go,
This makes
okay.
it fly, turn quicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Competitors all over the United States go to the nationals.
Where's it usually held?
Well, at that time they were holding them at naval air stations, and they rotated around the country.
Yes.
And we had Dallas, Olathe, Kansas, Glenview Naval Air Station in Chicago, near Chicago, Philadelphia, all over.
Okay.
And these were all won at the nationals, except this one. And that's in 1960. They had the first World Control Line Championships in Budapest, Hungary. And that was only 4 years after the 1956 revolution in Budapest, where the Russians had taken over, and it was quite an interesting place to go to the first World Championships.
And you went there and won this.
Yes, sir.
Hey, look at right there. It says Hall of Fame. Tell me about that.
Well, that was awarded that in 2000. That's for flying all the competition I did back then in control.
And each and how many? You have any idea how many trophies for that?
No.
Oh, sure. I'm pretty good. 10, 20, way up toward 100 or more, even.
Well, just about that.
Yeah. Okay. SportsSpeak Sports, where we speak about some kind of sports, and this flying thing is a mighty big and important sport, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it's gotten to be extremely big, and it's pretty well all radio controlled now. And they fly everything from true jets to just sport models.
But more of an adult, it sounds like to me, than it was a youngster, huh?
I guess, unfortunately, that's true. There's a lot of gray-headed flyers going around.
I'll say, okay, J.P. White, Don Still, Hobby Man, Mr. Hobby. SportsSpeak Sports, and I've certainly enjoyed talking to you. Thanks a million for letting us come by and look, and this We Speak Sports and a few other things. So long for now, and we'll see you next time.
SportsSpeak Golf Cars and Motorbikes, Highway 327 West in Silsbee, has this sophisticated, street-legal Tony Lamborghini golf cart, 6-seaters, 4-seaters, customized trailers, LaFree electric bikes, manual pedal bikes, and a motorized Velo Solex, tires, wheels, trolleys, and accessories for Club Car and E-Z-Go. SportsSpeak Golf Cars and Motorbikes, Highway 327 West in Silsbee. Call them at 385-3838.